To order at 6:05 p.m. Take a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 12th, 2024.
I'll make a motion.
Kevin, second. Marion?
All those in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Yeah.
Okay. So, old business. I don't think we have any bills from you, David, to pay.
No, I
Currently?
think we kind of built right to the end of that
Okay.
first schematic phase and kind of knew that would lead us into
Perfect.
this approval phase, so.
Okay.
Yep.
So, we have scheduled the public hearing for the 29th of August. So the goal tonight was really, let's kind of start to hammer down this public hearing presentation and come to an agreement on it so that we're ready and starting to think about how we want to present this. I don't know if you guys saw what I threw together today and sent out. You know, David had done the design stuff, you know, and around the schematic stuff, I tried to then take it and start to add some content behind it around why are we here and who's here and all of that. So we can kind of talk through this tonight and see what we want to change, what we want to adjust, and or what's missing.
Right, I would like to see, I think the biggest thing that is gonna make an impact is that, you know, the cost of this thing is exorbitant. And why are we doing this? So we gotta really talk about the fact that how in disrepair this firehouse is.
Yep.
And I think we need to expound on that. We really need to spell out the problem.
So
And then say, it doesn't matter what the solution is, whether it's 14 million or 18 million or 25 million,
agree.
there's a problem, a
Yep.
big problem and a bad problem. And so what we've done is we've created an answer to this problem, but we have to lay out that problem first so that people understand. And I have kind of been talking about it, right? I mean, I've been bleeding it out there all the, when I have the meetings and stuff saying, hey, it's falling down, we just fixed the wall again, blah, 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 you can see through the roof, the doors are falling off. Like, I've continuously said, this isn't disrepair, this isn't disrepair. But we really need to spell it out. And I think the other piece of the spelling out needs to be, we did that fix on the end before, and now we're gonna rip this down when we just put up these two new bays. And so we need to spell that out, otherwise we're just gonna get what on. So I think the problem needs to almost spend more time with the problem, that people are like, all right, how are we gonna fix it?
So
And that's a good place to end, right? This is how we're gonna fix it.
yeah. So fully agree. And if you look, I started going back and forth with Don, like, give me pictures, right?
Mhm.
Pictures are 1,000 words. So let's pull pictures. Let's do the same thing from like when
Oh, good idea.
your groups came out, and let's just show them.
Right.
Hey, this is the rot on the columns. This is the doors falling off. All of those things.
Okay.
But you'll notice in this, right? That is literally the slide I left blank because
Oh, okay.
I
noticed
did
that.
not have
It's on the
time.
blank side. and
I
was
didn't
just
have
okay,
like
maybe that's what I'm
this is
talking
the area that I'm like, we have to go. I have a header at the top for it, right? Current state.
Yeah.
Because I do agree with you, right? This is where we have to start to pull it all together and hammer that home before we do anything else.
Right, and then the other piece is that we have to justify why we're building it there and not, why are we not doing the Town Street one, or why are we not doing, like, this is where it fits and this is why it fits there.
Yeah, that's a good
You know,
call.
so
I
that's
really
a-
didn't address that.
Yeah, because you're gonna
It's a
get
good
people
reminder.
like, well, why aren't we outfitting the one out in Lake Hayward, or why do we have three, why don't we put a new one up on Mount Parnassus, like, all of those, we've had all those conversations, right? And they'll come back and they'll regurgitate it
Yeah.
to the point where they don't do anything. So we have to address I think we need to address all of it. Maybe what we do is we break it out saying, the first problem is the actual building that we have. And, the second thing is why this site continues to be the place where it needs to be. And, whatever it is, like,
Yep.
And then the solution proposed.
And then
and then the
yeah.
solution, something
Yeah,
like
why
that.
we chose
so that-
here and here's the solution.
Right. And I think even with what's wrong, right, you can go into, it's probably gonna be a couple slides, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, if you, especially you throw a picture, you're gonna have like 7, 8 slides, but show what's wrong with the building. Go right down the list, show what was wrong with the fixes and the structural.
And
But
then
I
how
think
much
we-
equipment are we, how much
Exactly. How
equipment
many
are we-
millions of dollars and
that
personnel
we need to
are in
pro-
there?
Yeah, we need to protect, and
Plus
I
manning,
think you
plus-
mentioned, in your slides, you said something about the community
Yep.
needing this, and the fact that there's gonna be community space in it,
Yep,
and
yep.
we're gonna, so that, we need to bring that out as
But
well.
I think we even have to go back to the money that was approved in 2015, right? Where we put 2.1 million into, or whatever it was, I don't remember the exact number, but forget about building the bay on the end. We repaired the entire roof once, knowing back then even that it was a patch to fix the roof. So this is not new. It's just bubbled up now because of the fact that it's falling apart.
We're out of Band-Aids.
Yeah, Band-Aids are right now. We need dynamite, not a Band-Aid. So, okay.
Move on through.
Yeah, we might as well just so we keep. And please excuse the format and anything. I just literally threw words on a slide for the most part, but
Yep.
um,
Back to that.
yeah, I mean, these were based on the charge, right? This is who was appointed and by the Board of Selectmen.
So you're gonna open up with
I can, yeah.
You'll open
Yep,
up
that's
with the
fine.
presentation, or at least the first piece, and then talk through
Yep.
your charge.
Yep. So just go back to the charge, David, for a minute, because I mean, obviously, the charge is 2 pages. I just pulled out what I thought were the key items out of the charge, just so that and kind of bulleted them. Right, we were charged with improvements to the company to Firehouse, consulting with these groups and their administrators, developing the schematic drawings that outlined a project, and then supervising that project through in the best interest of the towns, applying for grant funding where possible, and then contracting with, the architects and engineers on behalf of the town. I don't know if there's
Similar
any,
to any other building.
pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
but I don't know if there was nothing else really in the charge that I saw that was key
Should
to
it
the slide.
be improvements to the Moodus, or should it be, I mean, it is,
Yeah, so,
determining renovations, or, because we're not doing an improvement, we're doing a new building.
That was the language
It
originally.
was.
Oh,
And
It
there
does
was-
say-
It does, yeah, and it was
Okay.
somewhat contemplating new, but if there
so it
was a,
says improvements, the way it was written was improvements without limitations, is how they wrote it,
Yeah.
how it was written in the charge.
But again, if
Well,
this
maybe we
was,
should-
and this is our charge, right? But that gets us to our story of what's wrong with the building for
Mhm.
possible
So
and
maybe
where
we
we get to
use
where we
that
are.
wording here.
Improvements without limitation, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
just to
fine.
keep it,
I'll pull the exact wording out of the
yeah, I would.
thing and update that.
okay.
Okay. Alright, so I think we're good with this one. Then I just tried to look at what did we kind of talk about from the beginning for goals, right? And as a group, we talked about, right, assessing that current facility and comparison around the current firehouse facilities, identify structural safety and operational needs and deficiencies. Budget was obviously a big thing for us, right? Determining a plan of renovation rebuild that is, considers both initial and long-term maintenance. Operational efficiency, we aim to improve the operational efficiency, not only around staff and equipment and training facilities, all of it. Like today's world, everything you build needs to be sustainable and resilient, so making sure we're incorporating that into the project and how it affects minimizing the long-term operational.
I'm gonna interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Under operational, should you do something in their community needs? Again, I'm just looking at this as a PR thing, and future community needs.
And maybe we put that in the last one,
Okay.
under
Oh,
legacy
yes,
and
under
community,
legacy, okay.
community pride, but it's a good call out. Technology, looking and make sure we're using modern technology, communication systems, capabilities, all of that to aid in the response efforts. Timeline, develop a clear timeline, achieve our milestones to track progress and keep the project on schedule and budget. And then, around legacy, create a firehouse that the community can have pride in and, serves as a valuable asset for future generations, right? We've said we don't want to build something that's not 50 years.
I think the windows are down, sorry.
They did say it's gonna pour torrentially in a minute.
Yeah, just.
I did get that alert a couple minutes ago.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah.
Um,
Thunderstorms. Small hail.
yeah.
I'll check mine.
Yeah.
Do you have a bike out there?
No.
They just wanna make sure their windows are up.
Yeah.
We can pause for 1 second.
Will they do that? Okay.
Yeah, I was in Wallingford earlier and, coming up 91, and it's torrential
Oh,
for
really?
like
Really?
3 minutes.
I poured in Colchester, about
Wow.
a little after 4, for about 5 minutes it
That's a
came
nice
down.
ride, although I did see
Dark.
dark on the other side. Oh, jeez.
To a line.
Yeah, it's a line and it'll be gone. I mean, we need the rain. You don't need it
It's not
in
fast as well.
torrential
We
dump.
don't need it in an inch in 20 minutes.
No.
It's
Yeah.
gonna actually, it looks like it's gonna break up.
Oh, yeah, a little bit, yep.
Brutal,
'Cause
That's what
where we
washes
are.
out your backyard.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so under the community pride, we'll add a line for around creating a building that will work.
Is this a shelter
Mm-mm.
building?
No,
No.
it is not.
Okay.
It is not.
That's the school.
Hmm?
It's the school.
That's
The
cool.
school,
Okay.
senior center in here. Okay, anything else on this one we wanna add or take off? Okay,
So probably from that piece,
Did
I would
Yep.
assume it transfers over.
and you guys may be able to pull something better than this, I just pulled it right off Google Earth.
That's the best that I have too. It's not an updated, good Google Earth, but maybe that tells the story enough, right?
Probably better than a
Is
new
there something
one.
about community use on this building?
Yeah,
The last slide.
the last slide.
I'm not su- You wanna leave that in there so the community thinks they get to use it too?
Well, it's just that, and again, it comes down to like,
You're gonna have a faction of communities that
meeting
are gonna
room.
wanna use that room. They're gonna want to rent to
yeah, it's not
reserve it,
rentable, but
to reserve it for solar or reserve it for board of finance, whatever.
nah, that's not the purpose, but for
Emergency.
services,
Maybe-
trainings
Training, a
and
regional
cert
thing.
trainings,
I just think that community is going to,
And they
how about we say public safety related community
There you
events?
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you just leave community, that's gonna
Yeah,
open
yeah,
it up
it's
to all
good
these
call.
separate.
so we'll label it that way, public safety related community events.
Like a Red Cross,
Yeah,
Blood
we
drive.
wanted to do a red blood drive,
Yeah.
yeah,
something like that.
that's good. Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I think from here, we'll take it over
Mhm.
to us to kind of walk through the property boundaries and the limitations with the site and its position of what's there. I guess from here, it's gonna be all of those
Are
photos.
you gonna, I was gonna say, are you gonna take on the problem?
Yeah, I mean, I was
I
gonna
mean, you guys
take
are the
on, I was
engineers,
gonna
so.
take on the problem, cause we evaluated it, so I think we are comfortable with seeing what we assessed with the existing building and its context.
Okay.
I'll make reference of obviously the structural report that was done by E2 engineers.
The repairs that we've done
And the
is
repairs that have
temporary.
been done by Munger. So I could
I
talk to
think also-
that, I don't know if there needs to be any handouts or
No,
reference
I
to the
think
slide, I could just,
No, I
yeah.
think
I'll
it's
just
tough.
kinda talk through that. If there are a bunch of photos, I have some, but they were very kind of focused in and you wouldn't know you were in one firehouse to the other. I didn't know if maybe somebody could get some other broader pictures.
So I took a boatload of them, and they're fixing them, and I don't know where they are.
No.
They're not on the phone.
Or
anymore.
even just your
I'm gonna
current,
keep looking.
We could even do like
I have
the
stuff from our report,
Yeah.
so we can,
pull from that.
why don't we pull
Grab that
from
from
our
Jakunski.
structural
Yeah.
report?
Yeah,
So, if you just make some notes, we'll pull
So-
that,
Yeah, Jakunski says it too.
so maybe if you can resend that report to
Yeah.
David.
oh yeah, you have Jakunski did a report?
Yeah, he did one first.
You
And
did
then-
one first, okay, I just don't recall that exactly, but,
But I think it's also important.
I could reference the two reports that were
Yeah,
done,
okay.
one by another firm, one by a consulting engineer
got
that
like
we hired and.
4 of them.
Yeah.
You want them all.
Yeah, no, let's list them, I think
Yeah.
throwing that
No,
chronology
I
that
think
you've
that's
been
important.
evaluating.
Look, we have done
is-
everything we
Yeah.
could to
Right.
bring this building and
It-
keep it in place and try and come up with the repairs that would
Okay.
work. And
Right.
4 people have come in and said, don't do it.
Right, and I think that's important for the townspeople to know that there is history. This is not this committee coming up with
Yeah.
a new concept or idea that this is a elongated problem. that we
And
don't-
even what we have to make sure we call out is even the repairs that we did, right, with Munger, that was to barely bring it back to code of 1980.
That's
Right,
another
it's-
So
important
we,
piece.
we got the other contractor, when your overhead doors are falling, we fixed all that, we put thousands of dollars in for
Yeah.
that.
So if you could give me just the bullets of the chronology,
way.
we could insert that in there.
Yeah, you
Um,
probably know most of those
Yeah.
more than any of us.
Could you shoot a couple pictures? Exterior,
yeah.
interior, just, and then there's stuff from the
Pulls the
report that
walls,
we're gonna
yeah.
pull in, that was a part of,
Go
you know,
ahead.
we have photos from that, that I'll use, but
We should
just
take-
thinking even operationally of what you have,
Okay,
that's gonna
Yeah.
be, you know,
I wish I didn't take pictures of the door sinking, I should have.
okay. That's fine, we'll
They
just
might
hit,
have them. I'm gonna reach out to them.
But even
That was,
things like
down
the
at the
stairs,
fire windows.
right, those stairs up to the storage up top, that is the only storage in the building, right, that type of thing to show how unfunctional the building is.
yeah. So I think
That's
through
why-
there,
that-
whether it's,
A picture of that mechanical room, that's a disaster waiting to happen, right? This is,
And
I
the
put
drainage in the
thresholds on
floors, I
floor
mean,
So they wouldn't freeze.
Oh, you gotta go run over tonight after this rainstorm comes through and get the pictures of the.
or just
drainage.
wash your truck, I mean, the water just drains to
Oh,
the
wash the
doors
truck.
too.
Yeah.
All you do is wash your truck, you got it for that
Yeah.
photo, so.
so any of those would be helpful, we'll input those in,
But can I just add, I mean, so,
yes, please.
so technically, right, all the issues, right, I think there's another piece, which is fundamentally, what needs the building to do not accommodate for currently as well,
Mhm.
right, we have a huge amount of structural issues with the building itself,
Yeah.
but we also have, okay, now we also know that there are shortages with the way the building is and everything else, I mean, should that be a separate?
so
item
I
too?
think I tried to cover that more in the benefits of doing it,
Okay,
right, in
alright.
the end.
I didn't pick up on
But
that.
there are possibly maybe
Operational.
operationally that we could tie the two together, right? Even if it's at a high level here where we say, look, fire services changed, right? When this building was built, there was no need for people to sleep here. There were smaller trucks. There were all of these things that have changed. And then we can talk about how we address that in the end under the
Kinda give a
benefits maybe.
prelude to it.
Yep,
Okay, yeah,
And
that's
people are
fine.
gonna ask questions, right?
they are.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then we'll go wherever they
That-
take us.
Yeah, and that's gonna open up where it's comfortable, again, we could speak to the operational inefficiencies and so forth, and how we're resolving that in the proposed
Mhm.
design.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do this slide, but if you could get me your chronology and then any other additional photos, that'd be helpful. We'll walk through the proposed site plan, we're gonna.
So this is where I was asking you,
We
about-
could superimpose this over or do a colored, you were saying, we would do some type of colored plan or superimpose over.
Yep.
Over the existing, so yeah, we should come up with something there related to that. The floor plan, I think, you know, because it's such a big, either we should hand out pictures or Eric, we could do it in parts and pieces. You tell me how detailed you wanna get on the
honestly, the
overall-
bays are what they are, right? You got the rooms on the ends. Maybe it's two pieces. Here's the bay side of it,
Yeah,
and then we do the office side
Just
of
do
it
one page
and do one page of each and break it
Okay.
out.
We can split it up, yeah.
yeah,
I
and,
just copied that out of the stuff and stuck it in there, you know.
okay, yep, no, that's fine. The program this weekend, you know, it's always hard to read a spreadsheet up on a screen, but we could do a handout of these drawings if you want.
I think maybe two or three, right? We do the site plan, we do the layout, and then we do this type of
Okay.
deal.
Alright, so maybe we'll just do this in a two-part slide, so it will read from the back of the room, cause I'm sure.
Okay,
Where are we presenting?
here, big room.
Big room? Oh, okay, well, there's pretty good.
You have a
So-
big screen.
It's not too
Yeah.
big.
So Dave, you're saying the top half, one slide, and then bottom half other
Yeah,
slide?
just so it's larger enough that everyone could read it from the
Right,
back.
yeah, of course.
The renderings we'll talk through,
So this is where my question is. Also, here you're showing concept one, right? We agreed on concept two, I think, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we should pull all the concept one.
I didn't know if you wanted to show where we landed, but
I think we just show where we
That's
landed,
fine.
period.
that's fine. Not,
Then you're gonna
let's not get
Is
debate.
is one cheaper, so you went
Yeah,
to two
yeah.
because it's more?
Yeah,
You know.
I think we just show the concept, period.
That's
Was
fine.
it concept 2 we landed on?
Yeah.
Really?
They're very similar.
It was this one.
Okay, with the out,
One,
yeah,
I believe.
for the radio room.
Okay, so whatever concept it was, one or two.
It was, that's the one I remember, it was, had the barn roof on it.
Okay.
That,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
Perfect.
thanks.
okay.
If we can't
I thought my
remember, then
memory-
let's just pull another one out and be done with it.
Yeah, whichever one it is, use that one.
Yeah, I think everyone liked two, but I think one looked a bit more,
East Haddam,
East Haddam.
East Haddam,
Yeah,
okay.
okay.
monitor barn there.
yeah. Okay, great, so we will do that. Now we get the sort of the benefits of the project, and I know you'll have costs when we get to next, but we'll
I
pause here.
just realized I didn't highlight the one, too. Yeah, so, I mean, these were the things that I came up with off the top of my head. There may be things we can add in here and do, or look at differently, but, right, create a safe and functional firehouse. You know, we need to provide the firefighters with a building that provides a safe environment for personnel, equipment, while supporting new ways of operations.
No personnel is spelled wrong, right?
It is, and there's no period after operational either.
Craig, maybe just to say safe, is that we just highlight here that right now, right, we want to be able to stay here during storms, right, without
Yeah.
fear of the firefighters, maybe just highlight that in the slide.
Yep, yep. And we can even talk to that too, even, right?
That we have people man
Part
there,
of this-
plus paid staff there all day.
We can't man this building during a hurricane because it's
Can't be
not,
in it.
you can't be in
We have
it,
to remove
exactly,
the
we have to
equipment.
remove equipment and,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
know
so
if there's
far
a
we haven't
major
done that.
snowstorm.
And that's the other thing, that's why I was highlighting that,
Snow.
too, both of those issues,
Yep.
so.
So, you know, it helps improve our community resilience, right? It enhances, you know, resilience in the face of emergencies and disasters. And maybe this is where we talk about it under this line, right? Where it
I'm gonna
provides a
turn this
reliable-
back to you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to take it, I was just trying to.
I don't care. I mean, if you want to talk to it, or
And we can come, we can
we
go
can
over it
figure out
some.
who's going to talk to it, right?
Yeah, I just, whoever you feel is gonna be most convincing, right, to the audience. I'm happy to take as much as you
Yep.
want, so.
You know, again, these are things that as I started to think about this through, right? If you're coming into town, we're trying to drive business, there is a positive economic effect on property values, potentially attracting community businesses and residents. I also wanted, is there any changes like to this is where we get back to why build here, when we start to look at insurance rates. If we don't build here, we start to get away from distances, you know better.
Right, so.
The ISO
For,
stuff?
yeah, for ISOs. If we were to move everything to Town Street,
Yes, but I don't think it's an impact as you would feel.
gotcha.
I don't think you're gonna lose a rating,
Gotcha.
because,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think we might even gain some because of the new safety standards, right, as far as cleaning the equipment and washing the stuff.
By this, we would gain,
We would gain.
yeah, but
So, we probably wouldn't,
Well, if you-
if we lost anything, we'd gain more.
I don't think you're gonna gain by a new building, because nothing's changed. You still got the trucks, you still got the
Yeah.
people.
Same location,
You're,
response time.
I don't think you're gonna, response time's not gonna change, none of that's.
but we gain under the safe environment
Yeah.
of
Yes.
OSHA standards,
Yeah.
washing equipment, people aren't taking gear out they shouldn't be, all of those types of things.
So maybe we highlight those.
Yeah, and there's a whole big new OSHA thing coming, right, with fire, that we're ahead of it, and we're including it in this.
So maybe this is a good slide, Kevin, for you to talk to, right, as the fire department person.
Yeah, and I think we wanna also have in here that, one, the benefits are that we have people manning the station now, right?
And we're building it out to be able to sleep there
Well,
24 hours a day.
that's where I was going too, right? We have people there all day. if we get a hurricane, where do we put the paid staff? We have to move them to another station, which basically empties that one, right? So I think we can highlight that. We can highlight the fact that you can have sleeping quarters there, right? For people who want to stay, whether officers or whoever it may be, long duration, but it's also the long-term solution, right? Which I don't think this capitalizes on, which is we're looking 30 years down the road for a building that will suffice not to just today,
Right.
but also future needs of the
Yep.
fire service.
Is your number 6 that says renovations can incorporate, wouldn't it just be new construction or, you know?
You're right, yes, it could be, yep.
Okay, I got one,
Okay.
but, thank you, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, right, yes, new construction.
Okay.
Any-
Cost,
Yeah,
so.
so I think we have to do some kind of a square foot average, right?
Yeah, we-
750
Yeah,
or
we could give
something.
you some cost
based on
off
other-
of some of our other projects.
Mhm.
Can I just add one thing?
Yeah.
So when we did the original square foot calculation, which was the spreadsheet before,
Yep.
we had what we currently have, what we've finalized too. Where do we want to highlight the fact that we've already knocked about, 4,000 or 6,000 square foot, where we already fine-tuned that number? Right, somewhere I
Yeah.
think maybe in the cost, but just say, here's what we originally, this was a dream firehouse.
Yeah, yeah.
We've already knocked it down by 4 mil, or whatever that number is, because I think that's important for the townspeople to know that we've already done a reduction to come up with what we think is the bare bone minimum for a firehouse. Just to highlight
Yeah,
that
so we
somewhere.
say, look, through the process of engaging the fire department, we started out with a wish list, basically. We put a building together. That building came out to be, it was almost 18,000 square feet. It was like 17,900.
Right, and what would that cost
And-
be versus where we landed?
Yeah,
Okay,
and we've now come back, we've reworked it, we've created a flow within the building that eliminated,
Couple thousand.
you know, unused space and hallways and all of that. And now this is what we're down to, you know, based on what's truly, I don't wanna say, right, it was a wish list before. There were
Oh, yeah,
things
it
in
was,
there
yeah.
that we felt the town couldn't afford.
Right.
And we pulled them out, like
And
a
it-
gym and other things.
And I think that's important things to note, right? Whether we put those in a mezzanine or not, they're out of the square footage, right? So,
okay, yeah, so we'll put together a
and
cost.
I think, yeah, no, sorry.
No, go
I
ahead.
think that just gives the townspeople the opportunity to say that we just aren't coming to them with a pipe dream, right? That we've thought about their needs,
Mhm.
our needs as
I
townspeople,
could
so.
speak to that when the program comes up, in terms of the process of how we derived at
Mhm.
these, how they,
Your interviews, all of that.
yeah, and how it also compares to other, you know, other communities, right?
Mhm. Yeah, I think those comparisons are good,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. What
Um,
is the new norm for firehouses,
Yeah.
right? Because again, I'm sure there are people that have a perception of what a firehouse should be, could be.
It's a building
Everybody's
with a
perception
truck-
is
It's a building with
Yeah.
a truck in it.
Yeah. It's a
what's our
tin,
total?
tin roof.
14,
And everything's on the truck.
14? Yeah.
14 something.
But you
Yeah,
know
like
that's gonna
Canton's
come
at
up,
like
so.
12 that's just being finished up. So they're probably similar in community size. They have other departments just like yours.
Right. But that way they don't think we're coming up with this Taj Mahal that's a shock to them,
That's
right?
right.
That's
Yep.
the important issue to
Mhm.
me.
Yep. So
But
what is,
you? Sorry, there was something you had said before, Irene had said. I was just gonna head on the tip of my tongue that we needed to talk about. It'll come back to me. Sorry. Go ahead.
was it related to phasing, the question of what's gonna happen when, you know, cause how am I addressing the question or preempting the question related to, cause we're showing knocking down the existing building and rebuilding on the same footprint.
That's, she did say we wanna
Yeah,
talk about the
I think she
company.
wanted to talk about that sort of temp issue, so
Yeah.
I could preempt that in the presentation, that, like you said, the overlay of that site plan
Yep.
begins to say, but what would be the game plan
Well, I think
We're
that
gonna
ties
use-
in, right, that we can't just renovate the building and we can't tie it in, it's
Yeah.
basically a wash, right?
Oh, that's what it was, thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
The old building, right? Yes, exactly. That structure we just put up, why we can't use it.
That's the
Why you
important
can't.
piece.
Yeah,
Yes.
we can't reuse it, so that means we need to knock that down,
Yes.
which means
Right.
what happens to?
So what we talked about was public works, right?
So that goes-
Using public works, their trucks can go outside.
Okay,
You know, most of the fire trucks honestly can sit outside other than the winter,
Other
but we
than
prefer not to do that.
Right.
It's easier to lock up public works trucks than it is to lock up, so they'd go up there and,
Plus all the equipment inside and everything.
yeah, exactly.
Sure.
It's all,
sure,
we don't want it
Astronomical
outside.
amount of equipment.
Exactly. So that, but the plan is public works garage, put what you can in company one, realign trucks, and the rest will go in public works temporary.
Right. But I think going back to the new addition, right, what do we do with that new addition?
That's gotta come down, right?
Right,
yeah.
I mean, it has to come down, but is there a way to salvage it? Is it just gonna be scrapped? I didn't remember
I
where we
don't think
landed
there
on
was
that.
any way, so.
no, I
It
mean,
would probably
It's
cost
going
you more
to,
to
I mean,
disassemble.
it'll get disassembled and go to be recycled, but it won't be repurposed for this project.
It's called the public works to use future down the road.
That's where,
Oh,
that's where I
is
thought
that
you
the
were going.
plan?
right?
Yeah, well, that's part of
So
sustainability.
the new part was gonna be taken down and saved, and then we would do a
Oh, the
foundation
new part.
later.
The new
The
part will
new
be
part.
disassembled,
Yes.
okay,
With new fuel.
okay,
Then we would have to buy that one wall later
Yep,
and a foundation later.
okay, gotcha.
If it
But
ever
the
gets
rest of the
done,
structure is all.
if it ever gets done, who knows, but it'll be there.
we'll have it, we'll have it.
But the old piece, the original part of the building would just be dismantled and scrapped.
Yep.
Okay,
And we even talked about maybe the garage here, maybe we put one truck in here so that you have a truck in Moodus type of deal, you know?
They won't fit. Too wide.
Little trucks. I mean, you could do utilities maybe and stuff like that, but
yeah,
not
for
do
for
you have
medicals
any
or
other
something,
smaller
maybe.
vehicles or something, cause I think that those are,
Yeah, those narrow doors.
yeah, I think we're just like 10-footers, not 12 or something. Okay,
Yeah, I think that's the important thing, right? Those two things. Highlight on why we are not trying to resuscitate the building, including the new addition.
Yeah.
But also come into why, how did we get where we are?
Those
And show them that we thought logically to reduce the footprint of this and the
When you
cost.
show the pictures of the water running in and pooling at the base and the pictures you have of the rot and the rust
Yeah,
of
When
all.
you see daylight from 12 feet away at the wall, yeah, it's pretty good.
This needs more work, all right, I just threw out the two things I could think of off the top of my head around potential grants. I wish Irene was still here, but
So there is a grant coming through Murphy's office that's specific for firehouses.
yeah,
Once that gets approved, and then you'll be able to apply. It's for specifically public safety.
so we need to be shovel ready
Correct.
to apply, which means we have to be out to RFP, we have to be,
Correct. I have the woman's contact, I'm supposed to call her like every couple months, but it hasn't been approved yet, but there is a potential of, the grant for fire.
so we could throw that on here, potential future grant.
Yep,
But
just highlight.
for any of these, in order to even apply for these, we have to be shovel ready, which means that we have to have, plans in place and drawings done and an RFP out to know what it's gonna cost to do it.
okay,
But I think we highlight that, right, that we are looking at other forms.
Yeah,
besides-
we'll throw Murphy's on there and then we'll say, look, we continue to look for anything that becomes available. So next steps, I just kind of threw, right, we're reviewing the feedback from tonight's we'll review it, the feedback. We need to present to the Board of Selectmen to move things forward. Right, you guys will continue to create construction drawings and so we can get to a point of RFP. And then,
Or
Do-
finance gonna be that too, right? After the selectmen.
so this is where, in your current bid, we have money for you to create construction drawings, right?
but it was only based on that renovation, it wasn't the full
Not
ground
full,
up.
so
Yeah,
we'll
so
need
we have
more-
so we have to reconcile what that would,
What the difference is.
what the difference would be. Now, don't you would need, you need to go to you need to get all your approvals first for the full, like, how are you going about the funding to take it to shovel ready or call it 90%
Well, so this is,
plans.
if we didn't need any more money because you had enough money to do the drawings, we wouldn't need Board of Finance. But because we don't,
What we do to move it forward to go to referendum.
you would after that, correct? But so I'm
So we
thinking,
need it after the
So
select.
you're,
Yeah.
you're gonna need your, call
So-
it your seed money to complete the construction documents, and then after you would go.
so what we really need is Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance to get more money, right? Then we have to go do an RFP, get the dollar amounts, and then we go
Yeah.
back to Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance to get it to town meeting to RFP. So,
Depending, we actually may have our money still left for finish this
oh,
up.
that's true.
I think we still have a lump sum.
I just gave 300 back that I'm not spending.
No, I
we-
think we made this account bigger.
Let's look at,
I
let's
have
look at
it.
that. So can you?
Yeah, we can look at it.
Can you do
Yeah,
for
'cause
us a consolidation sooner than later on?
Yeah, in there, cause part of the soft costs would even, I was just gonna show a range of what that, what your design fees are on off of the construction costs, so yes, I can.
But I think
Yeah, I
we
could do
need,
that.
we need to know that so we can get to Board of
Okay,
Finance
yeah,
to get.
understood.
I
Are
think we had
you,
175 and some of it came out of capital, some came out of ARP.
Some came at
So I
you.
think there's a huge chunk still left over.
You're right, you're
Okay.
right.
are you
I'll
planning to
rework
go
this.
to do this as a GC or a CM like we did for this building?
I would think we'd do a CM, honestly,
So you would need some other of that seed money for pre-construction services for
potentially.
them, right?
Well, let's think about this. It's a
So-
$14 million project. It's as big as this building. This was 15.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
It's just not as complicated as this. in
it's not
theory.
as complicated, but the world of general contractors doing $50 million
Is
work
slim.
is
Slim.
It's slim.
Yeah,
so,
it's
you know,
gonna
it's-
have to be
it's,
construction management.
yeah, I think,
I agree.
I mean, I just think that's where everything is going
Yeah.
these days. There's not many. There are some, but I think many are going that route. Although,
Let's think about how we go out to bid for that.
Right.
Let's think about the
Yeah.
construction manager too. Let's think about that.
yeah, you got to see how you wanna do that. But compared to
So if you-
basically a hard bid with a general contractor, you guys have to.
Manage it.
Yeah, I mean, it's your parallel bidder, and that's it.
Exactly.
So.
And if we wanna do USDA, there's no way you do it with a general contractor. Paperwork wise,
Right,
no way.
yeah,
They were brutal.
yeah, the project reporting and all the accounting was, nothing could get approved and
Mm-mm.
without that, so.
Okay.
So I don't know if you wanna consider that in the process at this point, it's still undetermined, but
I mean,
that may be another step.
we may need to just simplify this a little bit,
Okay.
right? It's really
Yeah, cause some
about
may not even
care or no.
know how this goes, right?
Yeah. Like, I think it's gonna be, get your feedback, take your feedback back tonight, create a package to present to the Board of Finance, Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, they're not gonna care about what the SBA is doing.
No,
They're
no.
gonna care about
Yep.
who's saying yes and who's saying no. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, what about just other town meetings? There was a bit more angst here just because we were more embedded in the neighborhood related to the architecture of the building
Nah.
and planning and zoning and stuff. Jim doesn't think there's anything here that's gonna have any. You don't expect anyone's gonna be
No.
debating over the
It's
architecture
gonna look
like
a
they
hell of
did
a lot
here,
nicer
right?
than what's there right now.
The nicest building on the streets.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Other corner.
And the other thing we had to do here was, you had 15 different town departments moving in here.
Yes.
So we had to deal with each of those.
Yeah, and an historic component
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
original part of the building
So,
and,
This-
parking and site circulation and
Mhm.
pedestrian connection. There was a lot more
Yep.
here.
The
There
street's
was
a
much
blank
more.
slate.
Yeah,
Yep, alright, so we have to rework this slide also.
okay. And then I think that's kind of, rounds it out back to Q&A, which, that's probably the easy part to be able to, we'll know most of those questions, how to answer them.
Mhm.
Okay,
I can review that slide a little more and suggest some tweaks. to
Yeah,
it.
if you take that one, I'll deal with this one. You took a lot of notes, Eric, on,
Yeah, you wanna type some of those up, we'll type them up and send them.
Yeah.
I stopped when I saw him writing, so I was like,
So did I.
perfect.
I took as many notes as I could, I can type them up and.
We'll review
Yeah,
them.
we have the
Send them
video
over.
too, so, which is good.
Yeah.
To review, but, I think next step, do we think if we take a week, kind of pull this together?
Yeah, cause we're,
Yeah,
That's
2 weeks.
we're
away.
almost out of time. It is 2 weeks from Thursday,
Yeah.
so, and I don't know if we need to come back together.
Probably
I think
just
we
do
can
it
do
on,
it.
We could
Do
do
by
it,
email, right?
yeah, or I can even set up we could do a total Zoom meeting
That's fine too.
too
yeah, that would work.
for it, so,
So.
so let's circulate back out what a revision
Okay.
between what you pulled together, I pulled together, you guys pulled together. Let's get a revision together. We'll circulate that back out. We can all look at it, and then we can make a decision. You know, I think it would be good probably that week of the meeting, whether it's Monday or Tuesday or something, just to
Sure.
have a quick Zoom call, even if it's 30 minutes during the day or something.
Sure.
To just regroup and make sure we're aligned on who's doing what slide and run through it again one more time. I mean, the reality is, look, we've all been talking this for a long time. So, and we've gotten to a point, so I think there's no secrets where it is what it is. We're just want to make the townspeople aware of why and how we got here.
Okay.
So,
And I think they've heard a lot, right? They've heard stuff off the street. I've had people come to me saying that the rumors on the street are somewhat outlandish on some things, right? So I think it's time just to lay out what we're looking for and how we got here,
yeah.
versus letting them come up on their own with how they think
Right.
we got here.
The other question under cost that I have to figure out is, do we get into at this point, like, when we did this project, there was a whole huge, what's it do to my taxes, right? How much are my taxes going up for it? How are you paying for it? Which really isn't for us to decide, right? That's for Board of Finance and others to decide. Are we bonding it, doing bands? What are we doing to get this project done? But
Yeah,
we did a whole, if I remember
we also
correctly.
tried to preempt like what's the operating cost, but I think you could address that in sustainability. I mean, it's
This
going.
will operate probably a lot less.
It will and
Yeah,
it
it's
won't.
twice the size.
It will
It's
and it
bigger.
won't. It's gonna be more, it's probably just like this building, right? Your old, not only just the size, but you're now heating, cooling,
Yeah.
ventilating, where your current building, you're not doing that. So your operating cost is gonna increase.
Yep.
They're gonna be sustainable systems and they're gonna be energy efficient, but your cost still goes up when you build these buildings, Try to offset it with like solar, and then there's we're showing solar on there. There was a long-term payback. So I think all those could be demonstrated, but
Yeah.
with this building, we tried to address everything.
I mean, we could pull, the hard part with the fire department budget is the budget sustains 3 buildings. In theory, right, 2.5, we'll call it, because not a lot of money goes into for company 3. But if we look at just some of the repairs, ongoing repairs that are getting done at $1,000 a pop here, $700 here for the doors, all of that stuff, even if your operating costs go up for electrical and gas and that kind of stuff, some of that's gonna balance itself out in the efficiency and the maintenance side of it for a long time.
Well, I mean, the entire building's gonna have LEDs.
Mhm.
I mean, that's gonna offset some of your electric bill. AC's gonna be on all the time, so that's gonna
Yep.
squirt around, but, I mean, it shouldn't be huge. We're not talking a huge amount of money.
No, but it could get used more, right? If you have
Yeah.
a meeting room in there, you're not always gonna go to company 1, so some of that may get offset by company 1 not being lit up as much.
Yeah,
Um,
but still,
And-
look at the same thing, we got
yeah,
LEDs and AC.
Yep,
I
yep.
don't think it's huge.
But it's just twice as big.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's 14,000 versus 8,000, not quite twice as big, but so just by default, you know it's gonna go up.
Right, and I think part of that is code, right? People are living there, people are working there full-time, right? We just highlight the reason.
Yeah.
And basically, I mean, we have paid staff there now that sit there and just sweat all day, right, before or after calls. No, I mean, besides a portable air conditioner that goes through a crack in the window, you know, in the day room, that's all they have.
Yeah,
Right?
for one
So-
room. Yep. Well, you and I know, right? We used to have our offices up on the second floor. You
So did I.
yeah, right. You literally couldn't go up there and work for the summer
Yeah.
because it was so bad. Okay. Anything else we're missing in this?
What about your apparatus, and your future projections? In terms of projection of staffing, projection of other apparatus, things like that. You
I
know,
don't think-
sometimes people are building, we're building a new building, we're adding another bay, we're working in Waterford, and they're going back and forth between, are we doing 5 bays, or are we doing 3 double bays, or are we doing 5 bays? And, I think that's what people question, like, what do I have now, do I need that other bay, or this is definitely a plan for the future, because we ordered a ladder truck, and we're getting, so we hear that often. If you could outline, like, what you have, and it's,
I don't think we changed the projections, right? We have
If
5 bays now. The only thing we're doing is going full double bays,
Yeah.
which allows the flexibility of arrangement of vehicles when needed, right?
Like, I wonder if it's worth doing an overlay of the current apparatus in a bay to show why we need 5 bays. Take the trucks and lay them out in there as a quick slide.
well, the flexibilities they could go in, the
They
way it's
could,
designed, it
but
could go in
people are
anywhere.
gonna say you really have enough trucks to fill that up.
Yeah, no, we could outline, so if we could just get a list of how you want us to label the trucks, some will say
Yeah.
engine,
That's
tanker.
sort of less is better. You give them more stuff to question,
That's true.
less is better.
I mean, we
We
can
can
answer
answer-
the
we
question.
We could answer it if
yeah.
it comes out.
Well, actually, you know what? I mean, we have 5 bays now, right?
Yep.
5 1 3/4 bays.
Right.
We're going to 5 double bays, right? That's the only real difference. I think maybe what I might suggest is show the fact that you can barely walk between the tanker and the
Do
ambulance
some
right now.
pictures. Maybe that's
I mean,
pictures.
I followed Lynn through there last night. She whacked her knee on one of the couplings trying to get behind the ambulance yesterday. So those are the things why we want to go to double. The fact that it's full, I don't think it's going to get reduced very much, right?
No.
No matter what. But it's properly spaced for vehicles and flexibility, I think is the highlight.
All your gear right now is in the bays,
Yes,
so we have a separate gear room.
that's a separate issue, right? As
That's
far
a,
as
that's,
future.
that's a fire personnel health issue, right?
Mhm.
But then again, I would still be careful going on these roads, because technically, you have 10 bays. Technically.
Right.
Well-
The way, when the building was built, the size of the trucks was that. So now the trucks you're just buying are bigger.
Like the ladder.
So, you technically have double bays.
But not all drive-through double bays.
This is
And,
one.
You're missing
and
one.
to address the future-proof, space-proofing of larger equipment,
Yeah, agreed.
right?
Or we just say that we're making it equivalent to the 5 bays we have now, right? And just making sure we have a lot of space for
The only reason,
working around it. I mean, I don't know how to,
the only reason I bring this up, because you go to these meetings, a lot of times, the less you offer, the easier it is. And the best, sometimes less is more.
Yeah.
Because they probably don't know what questions to ask.
You
But
know,
if you give them a hint,
once you go down that road,
Yeah.
sometimes you can't back it back.
But it's a good point, right? We're
Yeah.
going from 5 bays to 5 bays.
Yeah.
We're just spacing them so they're usable bays, and
Yeah.
and you don't have to
Versus
pull a truck out
Right.
when you need to do work on the other one because you can get around it.
When we say double bays, are we referring to depth?
Yes.
Because right now, as they're shown on the plans, they are not shown as full double bays.
What's the width? We're 60.
Yeah, it's 60 feet, yeah. We
Yeah,
don't
we're
have 80
60
in
feet,
there.
we're not, sometimes 80 feet, we'll go 80 feet for two.
Yeah, but currently today we're not even 60, I don't think.
45.
Like,
Yeah, we're
45.
sometimes,
Okay,
we
I just-
describe like,
Yeah,
we'll do
yeah.
80 as a double bay,
Gotcha.
meaning that you could almost get
Two
a,
ladder trucks.
you know, a ladder truck and another
And
engine behind
which
it.
we can't do.
No.
I just wanna make sure, because if we need to
So,
adjust the plans.
We're going from a bay, basically, we're going from a bay to a bay and a half, well,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do
Almost.
have to watch our verbiage. there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's.
And thanks for highlighting that, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just had in my opinion,
Yeah,
in my
'cause,
brain, my head,
I mean, we
so-
just ran into this in Waterford, you know, they specifically asked for double bays and they were saying 80 feet deep,
Yeah, yeah.
is what they were saying, so.
So again, cost savings wise, typically double bays are 80 feet. We've said we can make this work at 60. We have 45 today.
Right.
So take that
Compromise.
across the bays at, how many square feet is that we've cut off the plan to make this work? So,
Right,
It's a good amount, I mean, 20
yeah, I mean,
by.
That's a lot.
15 by
Yeah.
80.
Exactly.
Yeah, let's say 15 by, yeah, times 100,
Right,
yeah.
so, right, those
yeah,
are the
that's
types of
1,500
things,
square feet right there.
yeah, those are the types of things we've
Right.
done
Right,
to make this work as we can within a budget.
right. And if you went to double, I mean, that
Yeah.
would add another, 1,500 square feet
Right.
to your building, you know?
Which is customary for building firehouses, you want double bays, but that's not what we're doing.
Right,
Yeah.
Double bays for our purpose,
Yeah,
Yeah,
for our
we're-
town,
yeah.
for our equipment.
correct.
yeah,
right,
palleted towards your specific apparatus, so.
okay. All right, well, we'll tweak the graphics a little bit, with the floor plans and color them up and organize them into different slides. We'll get that back
Do you have
to
somebody on your team that can make the PowerPoint pretty? Or, I mean, I can,
Yeah, no, we'll, yeah,
We
yeah,
can organize it,
yeah,
yeah.
we'll
It's not a
organize
I
it.
just,
Yeah, we could do the same with the, just the background, you have just a white background. We
exactly,
we
yeah,
could- we
I
could
just
just-
literally threw it on
Yeah.
a copied slide from
Yeah.
your presentation. Cause
definitely.
even the headers, like if you go back, like I put the headers at the top and then I realized you have all your headers at the bottom.
Yeah,
So,
we'll
just to
clean-
align it,
We'll
Yeah.
clean we'll clean this up, so
Yep.
that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll definitely clean this all up. Okay. Yeah. We'll get the town logo on there and stuff like that.
yeah, perfect.
Everything
Perfect.
else, so.
Anything else?
Okay, great.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Okay.
Yep.